right, back with another video. So Pierre Poilievre had a little media scrum today in Ottawa, and this is covered by CPAC, and Pierre Poilievre really let Mark Carney have it. So I'm going to play a few minutes of this. I just skipped over the French part so we can get to the English part. But Pierre really is starting to push back again now that he is officially back. Well, as of September 15th, he will be back with a seat, ready to go after the Liberals. And it looks like he's getting in some good practice. So we're going to have a look here, then we'll talk about it. But before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps grow the channel. And I appreciate you guys for doing that for me.
I'll reiterate that our purpose is to put our country first, to defend our workers and their jobs, to ensure that they continue working and selling our world-renowned steel, aluminum, autos, lumber, and other products to the world. And we know that they have been under attack for a long time now. Our purpose also is to make this country affordable so our young people can buy homes, start families, and our seniors can afford both food and lodging and live out the dignified life that they deserve. We set the priorities for this fall session being to have stronger take-home pay with lower taxes and inflation. We want safer streets by locking up the criminals, secure borders with less immigration, and by ensuring that those who do come to our country are not criminals or lawbreakers. And fourth, a sovereign Canada, a country that can stand on its own 2 feet, pay its own bills, and make its own decisions. And that's why, while we'll obviously hold the government to account and oppose liberal policies of high inflation, out-of-control immigration, crime, housing costs, and youth unemployment, we'll also propose positive ideas to lower the cost of living, make paychecks go further, make our streets safe, and secure our country's future. We've even proposed a very detailed bill, this Canadian Sovereignty Act, which would make Canada the fastest place in the world to get a pipe in the ground, to dig mines, harvest lumber, open ports, grow food, do all the things that a nation needs to do to stand on its own 2 feet. My message to Mr. Carney, steal this idea. Come steal it. I welcome you. Plunder it. I'll go into your office with my policy team and we'll hand it all over to you. You can even get the credit.
Now, by the way, if Mark Carney actually did that and worked with Pierre Poilievre, I think that would keep a lot of swing voters happy. Right? It may look like, well, if you're going to just take the conservatives' ideas, why didn't we just vote in a conservative? But then Mark Carney could say, hey, listen, I'm here to work with all parties and do what's best for Canada. It would make him look good. It would be smart for him to do that, but the problem is if he did it, then Canadians would start getting a little bit of help that we all deserve. And we all know the Liberals don't want that. They're not here for help. They're here for chaos.
We can draft it up. Let's pass it in September. And let's get building. And we also continue to extend our hand to Prime Minister Carney to work together to get a good deal with the Americans. I promised that, and I offered that to him multiple times directly. My Shadow Minister of Canada-U.S. Affairs has said the same thing to her counterpart. So far, no response. The Liberals seem to want to play partisan games and score political points rather than working with all parties to get a good deal for Canada. So my message...
Absolutely, because they don't want a deal. Why would they want to get a deal done and get the crisis out of the way? The crisis, for now, is actually helping Mark Carney, so why would he want a deal done? And then, of course, today we find out that Mark Carney has removed basically all the tariffs from on the United States, and yet we haven't heard a single thing about Trump removing any tariffs on us. Weird, isn't it? He's not getting a deal done. He's actually doing what's best for the United States. Boy, after this and the Air Canada fiasco, you got to wonder what some of the polls are going to look like in the next couple weeks. Elbows up. Where? I don't see them. I don't see anyone with their elbows up. No one's doing the chicken dance.
Mr. Carney, put partisanship aside and work with all parties to get an actual deal with the Americans that stands up for Canada's interest. We have to judge Mr. Carney by his performance. And not by the standards I set, by the ones that he set out for himself. So let's do that today. First, I was happy to hear that he got the president on the phone. I know that Mr. Carney has been trying to do that now for about a month, And today, the President accepted his call. And the Prime Minister took the opportunity to make a series of very generous concessions to President Trump. And I was expecting that when the call was reported that we'd find that President Trump had given us something in return, that Mr. Carney, being the negotiator he promised he would be, that he would get something after giving something. But not so. Today we learn that it has been yet another capitulation and climb down by Mark Carney. His elbows have mysteriously gone missing. And
that's exactly right. His elbows, it's almost like the elbows were never even there in the first place. It's interesting that, you know, we back down on the tariffs and we get nothing in return. Makes you wonder, right? Did Canadians elect the right guy? Well, of course they didn't. They were duped into it. They were tricked. This has been a really bad start for Mark Carney. Now, it doesn't matter yet because of the honeymoon phase, but I have a feeling you're going to see things start to change. Mark Carney's not here to help us. He's here to protect his investments. Why do you think he removed the tariffs? 91% of his investments are in the United States. And also, I got to ask, why do you think Trump wanted Carney to win? He knew he'd be able to push him over. And now these liberal clowns are going, oh, that's okay. We don't need a deal. Oh, you know what? It's better if we move the tariffs. It's like, my God. He campaigned on elbows up and all you dummies were agreeing with it. And now that he's doing the opposite of what he said, oh, I agree with this too. Yeah, whatever the liberals do, I agree with it. Maybe they can even bring in another Nazi into Parliament and give them a standing ovation. Would you agree with that too?
And this call follows on other concessions. He promised during the campaign he would have dollar-for-dollar retaliation. He pulled that back. He made concessions on the military while getting nothing in return. He pulled back on his digital services tax, a terrible tax, but you'd think he'd get something in return for it. Nothing. And today, he removed even almost all of the tariffs on the United States and got none lifted from Canada. This continues with the weakness that he's shown on the world stage, continuing ahead with a $1 billion loan to the dictatorship in Beijing to build ships for Canada, creating jobs for foreign workers in steel and shipbuilding, while that same regime hits our farmers and fish harvesters with increasingly high and unfair tariffs. Mr. Carney's capitulations would be laughable if they weren't so tragic. They will harm our farmers, our workers, our people. More importantly, from his point of view, they are a broken promise. They are exactly the opposite of what Mr. Carney ran on. His signature promise in the last election was that he was going to put elbows up, negotiate a win, and match American tariffs. Let's go through the list. He has not thrown one elbow since he took office, except at our own workers. He did not meet his promise of a July 21st deal with the Americans. Again, his promise, not mine. He did not, he's backed down while claiming that he would stand up. And he's gotten absolutely nothing in return. In fact, American tariffs are twice as high on Canada today as they were when Prime Minister Carney took office, promising to deploy his negotiating skills to get us a win. He promised he would have elbows up. He promised he could, quote, handle Trump, and that he would, quote, negotiate a win. Those are his promises, and he needs to be judged by his word. And this was not any promise, just any old promise on page 73 of his platform. It was the promise on which he ran his entire election campaign. And now he's abandoning it. So either he admits that he was wrong all along, or that he knowingly spread falsehoods to get elected. He needs to explain which of those two things it is. But
absolutely, and I'm gonna cut it off there because I got a clip to show you from another point that he makes later on as well. But and that's the thing, and that's what Canadians have to ask themselves: did Mark Carney just say all these things to trick Canadians and just to get the win? I think we all know the answer to that, but I think a lot of swing voters are starting to realize, wait a minute, did we make a mistake? We always default to the Liberals for the most part, And we thought it was a Trudeau problem and that Carney was just going to be different, and he is different, but he's worse. And this is what I love about what Pierre Poilievre is doing. He's hammering these points, and we're not even back into Parliament yet. Wait until September. He's going to have a lot of receipts to go after Mark Carney with, and what's Mark Carney going to possibly say? Tariffs have gotten worse, no budget, deficit's going to get worse, the spending's worse, they're going to spend $100 billion, that's with a B. Extended vacation for what? After the most consequential election of our lifetime, he said. He's had 2 deadlines set with Trump to get a deal done. He's missed both. This is not what he promised. And if you said, hey, by the time August rolls around, the tariffs will be higher, there's no budget, ridiculous spending, same cabinet picks as Justin Trudeau for a large part. And what positives has he done? Well, there's a tax break that's going to give you a few bucks a month. Housing startups are down. They want to hide immigration numbers now. Like, the guy's worse. Trudeau became unlikable, and it took 10 years to do it. But Trudeau also inherited a country that was in pretty good shape. Mark Carney is not inheriting a country that's in good shape. It's in bad shape, real bad shape. If he's going to make it worse, it's not going to take anywhere close to 10 years for people to realize it. Now, that being said, I do think that Mark Carney wants to maintain his support for another year or so, hopefully gain it from his perspective, and then call an election before the U.S. midterms come up November of 2026. Because usually what happens when a Republican wins, the midterms, the Democrats come back and vice versa. And a lot of people don't like the whole Epstein list debacle and the fact that the Ukraine-Russia conflict is not over yet, which he promised. He made promises he has not kept, and a lot of people are starting to turn on him for it. And the Democrats are likely going to take back the House or the Senate, maybe both. Now, I don't know in terms of how much power they have to stop him from, resuming with the tariffs, but if Donald Trump loses power, the whole crisis effect also loses power, and that's bad for Carney. So I think he wants to call an election sometime around this time next year or a little bit earlier, so that we have an election and he wants a majority. And if he gets it, then we'll have a total of 5 years of Mark Carney. The middle class will be so desperate and hurting by the end of that 5 years, I don't even know if there's a way to come back. I don't want to lose hope, but we can't let that happen. Interest rates are going up in January. The NDP is going to have a new leader soon. Hopefully they can get their shit together a little bit, not for their sake, but for the Conservatives' sake. It's very hard to beat the Liberals if the NDP crashes out like they did and they join the Liberals. There's way more left-wingers than right-wingers in this country. We need the NDP's vote back a little bit and take from the Liberals so that they can get well under 40%. And then Pierre just needs to maintain 41%, and boom, you'll probably see a majority. And then we can start to reverse this liberal nonsense that's been going on for 10 years. But let me know what you think. Pierre Poilievre is really starting to go in pretty hard at Carney here. Back with those little digs, and again, people think he's an asshole. Who cares? That's his job. He's the official, or the leader of the official opposition. They're supposed to push back. And that's what he's doing. And in my opinion, that's what he needs to keep doing, not be all Mr. Nice Guy like Aaron O'Toole. Guy lost to Justin Trudeau and got like 33% of the vote or something like that. Not good enough. But let me know what you guys think. Please don't be shy. And again, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help grow the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back shortly with a new one.